Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome on over to another episode of Speak the Truth podcast. If you guys are brand new to this channel, make sure you like and subscribe. We're going to be going live pretty much every day until this entire conflict is over, and then live every day after that. We're bringing you unbiased truth from around the Middle East, with the exception of radical Islam. We have a really, I don't know, we just don't like it. So if you are in the same ballpark as we are, then you have come to the right place. First place I'm going to take you guys, while we're waiting on everybody to roll in here today, is I'm going to take you guys up over into Ukraine, and we're going to be talking about a little bit of a, I don't even know if I want to call it a mistake or something like that, that Russia ended up doing yesterday. What's up? Good morning, everybody. This is, you're about to watch a FAB. I want to say there's a FAB 300 going after this bridge over there inside of Ukraine. Boom! Now, why, oh, why would Russia target that particular bridge with that particular freaking munition? Because they're trying to collapse it, because they're worried about the Ukrainians going over and taking more land. So that's not a very good sign for Russia. I know everybody's talking about how Russia is, really strong and they're doing amazing things over there, so on and so forth. But the fact is, it's just not that way right now. Russia has been weakened significantly, and there's a reason Russia is so upset with everything that's going on over in the Middle East. Let's just be honest. They went over and they threatened the United States. Well, I wouldn't say they threatened the United States, but they definitely got upset. The United States is going to be going after the Red Sea, and that we're going to end up reopening that. And they're upset about it for a reason, because it's going to directly affect the supplies that are going up over into Russia. That's going to impact everything over on the front line. That's a dam, not a bridge. Oh, I'm sorry. It's a dam. Well, most PIMs, you can actually travel over top of them. So as people are ended up saying they're a bridge, they're a dam, so on and so forth. If I can transport a military vehicle up over the top of it, that's exactly what I'm going to do with it. So you're basically looking at any other way to do it. Good morning from Miami. It's a damn bridge. I love you guys to death. Morning, everybody. Morning, morning, morning. How you guys doing? See Corpus Christi checking in. Where else we got other folks coming out from this morning? You guys tell me. You let me know in the comment section where you guys are coming at. Israel decided it was going to go into Gaza and smash the crap out of it. That's right. Israel is going to go into Gaza and smash the crap out of it. As a matter of fact, over the last 24 hours, they have been like 12-ish plus hours. They have been bombing, sending in frickin' artillery shells. They've been doing all sorts of stuff. And we're getting reports of troops that are advancing on the ground over inside of Rafah and over inside Khan Yunis. So once we get this sucker up on the screen to bring everybody up to par, and we're going to bring a couple of videos coming out of here of where some of these airstrikes are taking place. So Rafah, obviously down in the southern portion of the Gaza Strip, we've got reports that the IDF went in there last night. The bombing, artillery strikes, stuff like that started around midnight, 2 a.m.-ish local, and just continued to go. And the IDF ended up rolling in shortly thereafter. Same thing with down in Khan Yunis. We got reports of more airstrikes and stuff taking place over here in Deir Abala, down here in the south, and then all the way up in the north in Biat Lahaya. Or, yeah, I'm pretty sure we pronounced that correct. Over in Biat Lahaya, we have some more protests and things like that that are taking place. Once we zoom out on the map, when we get our butts up over here and we start talking about it, we've got threats from Iran today. More and more threats from Iran. San Antonio, what's up there, bud? That's what I'm talking about. Any word on radiation disaster in Saratov? I didn't see that. No. No new words on that one. They did identify, however, while we got the map up, they did come out late last night and ended up identifying the fourth U.S. service member that lost his life up in Lithuania in that horrible training accident. That, in fact, came out last night. So in case you guys missed it, they've identified all four of them now, recovered all four of the bodies as far as I know. So yeah, let's keep going back down with it. So let's bring up the next video for you guys so that I can kind of explain to you a little bit of what's going on down here. It is sad, dude. It sucks. But let's be honest. It's a training accident, and training accidents end up happening all of the time. Hold on. Whoa, stop. Joey Denny says, got hooked up on Robert's fishing videos 10 plus years ago. How hooked on Speak the Truth for up-to-date news? Thanks for you, brother. Oh, dude, that's freaking amazing. So here's a commander from the IRGC, and yeah, it's like they have a death wish.
اتخاذ القرار بإغلاق مضيق هرمز ليس بيدي بل بيد الجهات العليا ولكن تنفيذه علي. هذا القرار سيتخذ إذا حرمونا حقنا ونحن نرى أن سفنا أخرى تمر، فسيكون لذلك معنى مختلف تماما، وحين ذاك سيتخذ القرار المناسب بإغلاقه أو إبقائه مفتوحا، وأنا كجندي سأنفذ القرار. فنحن دولة عظيمة والعالم واسع. ترامب أطلق هذه التهديدات من قبل، لا يستطيعون أن يمنعونا من تصدير النفط، وإذا تعرضت سفننا لأي حادث فسوف نرد بالمثل بلا شك.
So that's nice he's complaining about that, about his oil exports and everything else. Yeah, he speaks in squiggly. You are correct. So talking about oil exports and how we're not allowed to stop them, so on and so forth, he's dead ass wrong. And what he's likely complaining about is the fact that yesterday the U.S. put additional sanctions over on Iran and some different Iranian companies and some different individuals. Why? Because they're directly supporting terrorism. As a matter of fact, the organization that this man speaks for right now is labeled as a foreign terror organization by the United States of America. And it's kind of weird when you think about it because it's a formalized military within Iran. But because of the amount of terrorism that they support around the Middle East, the United States government has had them labeled as a FTO or foreign terror organization for quite some time.
إذا احتجزوا سفننا سوف نحتجز سفنهم أيضا، ولن نقف مكتوفي الأيدي لنرى أمريكا أو أي دولة أخرى تحتجز سفننا كما فعلت بريطانيا سابقا في جبل طارق بينما تمر سفنهم بحرية سواء في الخليج الفارسي أم في خارجه أم في المحيطات.
So our ships are not passing freely anywhere, to be perfectly clear, over in that entire region. They're not. Particularly in the Gulf of Aden and in the Red Sea, where Iran's been supplying all of those weapons to the Houthis and won't stop them from firing upon Israel and firing upon merchant vessels. It's kind of jacked up when you really think about it.
سنرد بالمثل. نحن لسنا شعبا يتلقى الصفعات ويدير خده الآخر ليضربوه. لا، ليس هكذا. بل إذا تلقينا صفعة سنرد عليها بصفعة أقوى. لا يمكن لأحد أن يوجه ضربة إلينا ويهرب حتى لو اضطررنا لملاحقته في خليج المكسيك.
Oh, somebody needs to stop this man right here. He does not realize that we changed the name from the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. So now you're going to chase us in your ships that are probably going to be at the bottom of the ocean by the time you get there, all the way over to the Gulf of America. Good luck, friend. You guys are about to get freaking owned. I've got new reports of equipment and stuff that is being staged around the Middle East, particularly B-52s now spotted over at the U.S. base in Qatar, as well as F-15s in Jordan. Now, those F-15s ended up going into Jordan, if I remember correctly, just a couple months ago. And I believe they've been there ever since. We also have the A-10s that have been moved into the area. Now we've got all of these B-52s that are being spotted out there as well. And if you take a look at that pad, ladies and gentlemen, I really want you to take a very close look at this pad. Take a very close look at this pad. Now, most of the time, all right, these aircraft and things like that are going to be going out one at a time. There's something even more telling about this photograph that I think a lot of people didn't notice. I want you to take a look. These pads where these aircraft are normally parked, unless there's something going on, they're pretty much empty, right? Maybe if there's high winds, like, I don't know. But for the most part, they're empty. And I want you to look at all of those little shadows on the ground, all around those aircraft. Look at all of those little shadows around that aircraft, right? As it ends up going out. Well, that image ended up coming back from a while ago. But either way, they're staying pretty damn busy over there. And when you have this amount of military buildup over inside of the Middle East, they are getting freaking slammed. They're getting ready to go out and bomb the living hell out of Iran, bomb the living hell out of the Houthis and anybody else that wants to play these games. Anybody that wants to play these games are going to get flipping wrecked. Period. And so if Iran wants to come out and claim that we don't have a right to traverse international waters, if they want to come out and claim that the Houthis are doing everything correct, and reopening that Red Sea will affect international trade all the way up over inside of Ukraine. Because here's the other thing, man. You guys, people want to complain about freaking world hunger, and they want to complain about genocide and everything else. Let's talk about the amount of grain that Ukraine actually exports out of the ports from Odessa in and around to Africa, and what the Houthis are doing and how that affects kind of how all that goes down, how it drives up the cost of things, how it slows everything down, so on and so forth. It's a huge issue. It's a big problem. Additionally, they're putting a massive strain on the EU, not to mention they've taken a bunch of freaking people hostage, not to mention they have killed merchant sailors, not to mention, I mean, we can go on and on and on about the overwhelming calls for justification for this. But at the end of the day, Iran is about to get freaking smashed for doing all of this crap. I just continue to see report after report that stuff's going down. Now, I told you guys up over inside of northern Gaza, when we get into it, let me get this up on the map so you guys can see where it's going and zoom you guys back down to the Gaza Strip. I told you guys up over in northern Gaza, and I told you guys particularly about these, how do I want to call it, uprisings that are taking place in the Gaza Strip. Right. So these uprisings that are taking place in the Gaza Strip, for those that don't know, it's my view, belief, and things like that, as somebody that might know a thing or two about counterinsurgencies and counterterrorism and things of that nature, that this is something that is going to be carefully orchestrated and carefully planned, that these people that are currently uprising inside of the Gaza Strip are going to be your new leaders, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I've got some videos coming up here in a minute to show you from last night's stream that are going to show you some gunfights and things like that that are taking place in Gaza. And that was this was yesterday, prior to the IDF actually rolling in. And so all of that infighting that you're seeing taking place over inside of Gaza, and this video is going to end up coming to you guys out of Beit Lahia up over the north, all of that infighting that you guys are seeing over inside of the Gaza Strip is because there is a power struggle coming in. They're going in to take care of frickin' business. Now, that power struggle is going to be the future leaders of Gaza. Those people are going to be the ones that the IDF kind of like props up and has them recruit everybody and has them start vetting like the force and everything else that's gonna actually go in and taking care of it. And people are really pissed off because there were statements coming out of Israel yesterday saying that they are going to be taking massive chunks of terrain. And people are really upset about it for some reason, as if this wasn't going to happen. Additionally, we ended up having like the leader of Hamas come out like in beg. These Hamas leaders now come out and beg yesterday saying that they are ready to exchange every single hostage over inside of Gaza, but they will not be accepting. Let me turn that off. But they will not be accepting them being wiped off the face of the planet. They will not accept the relocation of their people and so on and so forth. And yet all of this is still ongoing over inside of Gaza now. That's just one example. There's another one of a brand new one. That is a new-ish one, but there's another one, which for some reason I don't think ended up making it up on the screen. There's another one that ends up showing another protest that's continuing to take place up there in the north. Now, all the way down in like the southern portions of the Gaza Strip, let me get this sucker up. When we start going down in the southern portions of the Gaza Strip, this is where we're going to go. We're going to start talking about Rafah, all right, where the Israeli tanks are freaking down here. Okay, so we were just up over here, and now we're going right down here. And we're going to be talking about the Israeli tanks that are now rolling into Rafah and where everybody's going. Now, there is something very interesting that took place when I went through looking at this. I want to show you guys, okay? When it comes down to information, everybody thinks that you can go over to the internet, you can go to social media, you can go over to places like X, you could ask Grok, you can do all of these things in order to get accurate information. I just want to show you guys how well right now, I told you guys that the narrative is going to be controlled, right? And so what we're going to do is I'm going to show you guys this real quick, and then we're going to pull it up. We're going to go up over, and all I simply did was I typed in Gaza into the search bar up over on Twitter. And clearly my freaking algorithm is going to be very well oriented and tied into this entire area. As you start scrolling down and you start looking at it, okay, here we have, photographs of everybody going out. This is actually an image that came out of Rafah two days ago, when the IDF warned them to get the hell out of Dodge and migrate out and over. You start seeing some of the stuff that's actually on here for Gaza, okay? What you're going to start noticing as you go through it, there's some more about that. What you're going to start noticing, especially when you go over to latest and you click on it, is you are going to see all of the freaking pro-Palestinian narrative that is just flooding this thing. Here you go. She cried in fear as bombs shook their homes. This is the reality in Gaza 44 seconds ago, okay? Like, it's shit like this that is going to be taking over. Stop the genocide in Gaza. Now, this we're going to go over in a minute. This is a strike that's actually over inside of Djibouti that ended up taking place last night. And I've got a video of where that strike actually came in at. It's a pretty decent freaking view of that sucker that ended up going down and in on it. But these are the types of things that you're going to see when you go over there and you just start looking. Children of Gaza, the Palestine, like, you guys get the idea. They're hungry. They're doing this, and they flood it. This whole thing is just flooded. Here you go. This is the UNRWA headquarters over inside of Djibouti. For those that don't know, UNRWA has been caught meddling with Hamas quite a bit. And down inside Rafah right now, there is, water. Anybody? Water? Take a look all the way around that UNRWA building. There's a reason it looks the way it does. Now, there is something also that's very key inside of this video. Hold on, let me get it back. So this is Jabalia. So I should probably tell you guys where that's at, or Jabalia. I forget, however, it's the proper pronunciation of that one. And we'll go. So we're talking about Rafah, and we're going to get out of here, and we're going to go all the way up over here into Jabalia or Jabalia. That's all the way up here in the north. And again, those riots, I guess, if you will, or those demonstrations were taking place here. This video is coming out of Jabalia right down here where I'm circling it on the screen. There's something very key in that video that's taking place. Let me get that sucker back up on the screen for you. There's something very key in this video, and it shows it, it flashes it right in the beginning. I'll put this up here for you. See that flood and swarm of people down the street? Everybody just nod and smile and say, yes, Matt, we see that flood and we see that swarm of people. That flood and that swarm of people have been warned already. We saw warnings like that come out not that long ago of them being told to GTFO and get out of Dodge. Now, where is it that they're going to go? It's a very good question. So all of these people, for where they're at, once they start traveling south, they're going to end up like landing pretty much inside of Gaza City. There's really nowhere else for them to go. They can head up over towards the coastline, but to kind of make it like set in your freaking heads and what's going on here, you have the IDF that's up over here in Beit Lahia, and now we've got people in actions that are taking place over in Jabalia, and they're likely going to be pushing out over towards the ocean, over to, this open air prison beachfront resort area. And when they get out of there, they're going to end up probably traversing down the coastline. And what they're going to find is that there's not going to be anywhere else for them to go. They were warned a very, very long time ago to start pushing out of there. Where in the world is Matt Tardio talking about today? Brandon Cook, that's what the map's for, bud. That's what the map's for. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So you end up having the Philadelphia, or not, I'm sorry, not the Philadelphia corridor, but the Netzarim corridor that goes over here and cuts in the middle. This is the one place the IDF did not give up, even during the ceasefire. We ended up sending in a bunch of U.S. contractors in order to lock that sucker down. It was a bunch of like SF dudes that went in there, and they got paid pretty handsomely to make sure that that sucker didn't go anywhere. So they went down and they locked that off. So as you can see from here, if that Netzarim corridor is on lockdown, well, they're not going to be able to go anywhere if they're not allowing anybody to pass. Now, Israel is conducting these operations completely and totally differently than how they've done in the past. And I've noted this before, that we are not getting the same videos that we were getting out of the first time that Israel ended up going into Gaza. And I'm going to call this a second time, even though maybe you could argue third time, but we are not getting the same videos. Israel is not giving these people warnings about these airstrikes before they end up coming in. And I know that is true because there is not fixed cameras on those buildings before those bombs dropped. Previously, we'd end up seeing like nice cameras set up on tripods, everything like that, and those bombs would be going in and they'd get dropped. Now, that's a different sign to me, particularly when we start talking about what's taking place in Beit Lahia and also what's taking place in Jabalia, also what's taking place in Rafah. We didn't get videos coming out yesterday even of Israel rolling into Rafah. I guarantee you that at this point in time, some Israeli service members likely have been wounded, lost their lives, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They're probably really, really busy. And soon, coming up in the next day to 2 days, we're going to start seeing like medevac flights and things like that that are coming out of Gaza and going back over into Israel. Israel's pushing that hard. Those flights are what's going to be signifying, all right, those medevac flights coming out of Gaza are what's going to be signifying like how heavy that fighting is. And the problem, like, I don't want to say what the problem is. What the good sign is for Israel and the bad sign is for Hamas is that we're not getting a lot of that crap coming out even to this day. I would find it highly improbable if IDF soldiers haven't been wounded or anything like that at this point in time. But there is zero camera footage really that's coming out of there unless it's the pro-Palestinian propaganda like I showed you earlier. And again, that entire algorithm has been flooded. So there's lots of bots that are pushing information and things like that in order to screw with people's minds. Yeah, leaflets even. I want you to think about this. Even prior to, I want you to think about this last year. When Israel would go in and they drop out of Gaza, that's what's going to be going down. Why do I say that? Because those particular areas, like we do have people like I just showed in that last video that are, over inside of Jabalia. And this is a very good example because like some of the last hostages that ended up getting recovered, bodies, over inside of Gaza ended up coming out of this particular region. Also, some of the last hostage bodies that ended up getting recovered inside Gaza were coming out of this particular region. It was rumored that most of the hostages were being hid in between Rafah and Khan Yunis. That's what was rumored. That's what the intelligence was pointing to. And now we're not throwing that out there for anybody anymore. We're actually going after him and getting him. Uh-oh, you guys are having issues with the stream. Give me 1 sec here. See if I can get that problem solved for you. It might blink off for a short period of time, but I'm going to do my best to take care of that right now. All right, give me 1 sec. Let me make sure that that is done. So you guys are about to have a really good bit rate come through, and your feed should be fixed. Your feed will be fixed. Good. You're up and running. It's fine now. No. Nope. It's fine. It's fine. Look at you guys go. All right. I told you I'd end up fixing it. You're welcome. Now, up over inside of Gaza. Okay. I told you guys I was going to fix it. Whenever I have to fix it, that means I have to switch VPNs around. Sometimes the VPN gets bogged down and I got to freaking update that crap. When things start dropping from the sky, are we doing a 24-hour live stream? We've talked about it. I'll ship you the energy drinks. Brandon Cook, things are currently dropping from the sky. You want me to show you? Things are currently dropping from the sky over inside Gaza. You ready? The problem is when I say things are dropping from the sky, get ready for it. Here's things dropping from the sky. Ears warning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to take this. I'm going to turn it down, but I already know it's probably going to have Hodge music and like whatever. I can't remember. Thank you.
استنى تتحرك استنى خلي الشباب ينزل غلط يا رب استنى تتحرك استنى خلي الشباب ينزل غلط
Okay, so I'm telling you right now, these bombs are already dropping. And the problem is that with these bombs dropping, let me see if I can increase that maybe. With these bombs dropping, there is no telling how many have actually been falling. It's a lot. We've had a hell of a lot of them falling over there. And right now, over inside of Gaza, I'm just seeing frozen. Yeah, it's over. We've ended. If I have to restart the stream, I will. Sometimes it does that. You guys can't see me? You guys are good? Let me get a radio check on your guys' end so I can keep the stream up. Because right now I'm being told I'm good to hook. So let me get a radio check over there, ladies and gentlemen. You guys let me know how we're doing. It's all good. It's all clear. Good. 5x5. So again, switching the VPNs back and forth. Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. There's a reason I have to do it. Beep, beep. Good. Hey, everybody's in. Beautiful. And the stream ends. Get out and come back if you're in. Just refresh. It's fine. Yeah, refresh your screen. You guys will be okay. I'm seeing 5x across the board, so I'm going to continue on. I'm going to go ahead and play this video again for anybody that hasn't seen this. I told you guys that bombs are already dropping, and here they are.
استنى تتحرك استنى خلي الشباب ينزل غلط يا رب
Now, that particular bomb being dropped, if we want to talk about where those are coming out of, that particular bomb being dropped is coming out of reportedly Djibouti, right up over in this location. So we have bombs falling up over in Djibouti, and we have hostages that have been covered out of the Nasrallah camp. We have IDF tanks moving in on the ground over inside of Rafah, and we have bombs falling over inside of Jabalia and protests going on up over in Beit Lahia. Oh my goodness. If this doesn't fix itself, I'm going to be pissed. All right. So those are all of the things that are going on over inside of Gaza, right? Like all of those things across the board. That's where we're at. That's what we're doing. We're back and good. I might have to, ladies and it's really rather annoying. On back, restart. Nope. Okay. I see you guys now. I hear connections lagging, but I also have 1,000 megabyte per second upload that's showing on my end. So there should be no lag. I'm also seeing very good stuff on my end. It's not AT&T. You guys see me now, right? Good. Yeah, YouTube doesn't like the truth, ladies and gents. So I'm glad you guys ended up sticking around with me. So here's what I'm going to end up doing tonight, because I think there's a lot of stuff that's going on that a lot of Americans need to know about. So I'm going to go ahead and announce this right now. Chinese, who the hell ever. Well, now they're going to go chase me somewhere else and try to get me, right? So here's what we're going to do. Tonight, I'm going to end up releasing a video that's going to be titled What Every American Needs to Know About the Middle East. Because I think there is a buttload of misinformation that is going on right now about all of this. And I think a lot of people need a much broader understanding of what's taking place over there. And it's a little bit more than I should be able to put together in a live stream. And I want it to be nice, short, and concise. I heard a long time ago this saying, and for any of you like young bucks out there that are trying to get things out there, there's something that's called the 3 Bs that I learned when I was a very young leader. Be brief, be brilliant, and be gone. And that's exactly what I'm going to do inside of that video. Yeah, when it comes down to Iran, Iran is keeping up with their threats. Now, interesting enough, Iran's also begging the United States and the UN not to be going after them and attacking them, trying to claim that we're not going after, that they're not going after nuclear weapons. Now, the weird part about it, the absolute weird part about it, let me see if I can grab it. I ended up reading I want to say it came out of the ISW report yesterday, that one of the senior advisors to the Ayatollah actually went over into Russia last week in an attempt to gain nuclear weapons components. And it's kind of funny because we had talked about this yesterday over on the live stream. So if that's the case, if they ended up doing that, that is a very likely possibility for why bombing is even more and more imminent. Now, I heard that we don't have very long. Israel came out yesterday and said that we're going to be that they're going to be bombing the crap out of Iran very, very soon. And if that's the case, and we have all this going on, ladies and gentlemen, you need to understand what's going on and why, because there's going to be a bunch of misinformation that's coming out. I'm still getting stream issues on my end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this sucker out. I'm going to work on getting that video up and running and work on getting everything else going. It's not 75% possibility. It's 100% at this point, if not 99. The only thing that's going to stop us from bombing the crap out of Iran right now is Iran. But Iran's already, like, you can't trust them. Here's the issue with Iran. You can't trust Iran. Iran can try a first strike and it's not going to matter. If we catch the slightest inclination that Iran's going to try to strike us first, we are going to be bombing the living piss out of them before they even get their first drone off the ground. That's what's going to happen. And so right now, there is probably more sensors over Iran than we have over Russia. And we're going to be watching every little step of what those nut jobs are doing. And if they try to attack the United States of America, if they try to come after us, if they try to launch a preemptive strike, we're going to be blasting them back in the Stone Age. If you don't think we have nuclear subs that are just sitting down at the bottom of the ocean waiting to blast Iran to shit, you've lost your dang mind. That's happening, right? Their little freaking surface level boats that they have floating around, bobbing over, thinking that they have some type of a navy because underneath Obama, our freaking like military forces got so degraded. No. Iran's going to end up getting smashed. That's a fact. This military and the way everything's set up and what we have, the amount of firepower that we have over in the Middle East right now is insane. Like I said, B-52s over inside of Qatar. Jordan, we know for a fact we ended up moving in, what was it, like F-15s, right? I can't remember if it was F-15s or F-18. So we know we have all of that. We know all of those exist. Strap in, ladies and gents, because I'm going to leave you off with how much shit we actually have inside of the Middle East. We currently have a strike carrier group floating around the Red Sea. Great. There's 2 more on their way. All right. And I told you guys yesterday that the Abraham Lincoln, even though it was scheduled in port and it was up over inside of California, that it's going to be going back. In fact, yesterday it left port. So now we're going to have at least 3 strike carrier groups. Now, one is scheduled to replace the other. Carl Vincent's on its way over, a couple others, but all of that's taking place. Down in Diego Garcia, we've got B2s, B1s, and all sorts of other garbage that's down there. We moved A-10s. We moved A-10 Warthogs into the CENTCOM AOR. Additionally, we have been redeploying THAAD air defense batteries across the CENTCOM AOR. Over inside of Israel, we already have one. And there's about to be another that's coming in there. Last week on this podcast, I ended up showing you guys that we were moving more THAAD systems across the way. Iran last night said that we were some type of a, what was the statement out of like Iran? Don't throw stones if you live in a glass house. They tried to use that statement saying, don't throw stones if you live in a glass house, because of the amount of U.S. troops that we have around the region. Well, guess what? That's what all of those freaking THAAD batteries were being redeployed to the Middle East for, because we do have a lot of freaking U.S. troops over there. We still have U.S. troops in Iraq. We still have U.S. troops, to the best of my knowledge, inside of Syria. We have them hanging out over inside of Cyprus. Israel yesterday conducted an airstrike over inside of Lebanon in Beirut, taking out allegedly another IRGC commander along with another like King Dingaling from frickin' Hezbollah. And they were planning on doing a frickin' terror attack over inside of Cyprus against a civilian airliner. For those of you guys that don't know, a lot of the times that U.S. troops end up deploying, they end up deploying via U.S. airliners. Did you know that? U.S. military will contract them out. Conventional troops, they'll contract out these airliners, and they'll deploy them that way, and they'll send them over because it's cheaper. We'll send everything over, cargo, bags, stuff like that. Most of that stuff will get sent via military aircraft. But when it comes to troop transport and sending them over, we'll just contract out an entire airplane and send them over. We'll just buy the whole damn thing out and be like, yo, send these guys here. So if they're doing that and they're going after him there, that's kind of an issue. The other issue that I'm waiting for to see what ends up happening is all the way down here, because we've been bombing the living crap out of the frickin' Houthis. And this was something I predicted a long time ago. Sana'a, along with a couple other locations up here in the north, has been like the primary focus of U.S. airstrikes over inside of Yemen to go and target the Houthis. But all the way down here in Djibouti, and it's not that far, over in Djibouti City, all right, you see Djibouti City right here. So this country right here, this shithole of the Middle East, I'm pretty sure when God built the earth, that this is where he left all of the remaining stuff right here. Like all of the trash, all of the leftover, everything. He was like, put that in Djibouti, right? Like that's Matt's opinion on what God did. He was like, I got to put this crap somewhere, put it in Djibouti. That whole place is a freaking like a freaking nut roll. It just sucks. But when you go and you focus in on Djibouti City and you go and you take a look at it, you see this airport right here? Everybody sees this sucker right here? Right here. This airfield, this is actually a U.S. base, all right? And it's an international base, and you guys can see some like military aircraft and stuff like that that's over here. Here you got some Ospreys. What are those, C-130s? Not seeing a lot of fast movers or anything. This imagery says that it is from 2025 as far as this location is concerned, allegedly. But you see all this like aircraft and stuff like that that's stacked up. This is a U.S. base, all right? We pay a buttload of money. Oh, look, there's another pad. Let's see what we got over there right now. All right. Some more freaking transport aircraft. All right. This U.S. base that's over here, all right, is not that far off from Yemen. And Iran is threatening U.S. troops and U.S. forces. And I would think if I was Iran and I wanted to do some jacked up stuff, that I would end up threatening this location. So let's just go over to Sana'a, dude. You're talking about 260 or 46 miles, 250 miles away. That's it. That's it. And you're a short hop, skip, and a jump directly across the ocean. All right. 88. Now, here's the thing. Do I think that these attacks are going to be coming from Yemen? Probably not, because they know it's just going to be a waste of missiles and get that done. Have we invaded Djibouti? Oh, brother, nobody's invaded my booty. Now, up over here, here's the thing. Right? When we start talking about this U.S. base possibly, potentially being under attack, is when Iran's sending weapons down into Yemen. And we know this after the 2 U.S. Navy SEALs ended up losing their lives. When Iran's sending these weapons down into Yemen, all right, they're not a direct path. They're not like loading up freaking military ships and sending them up over into Yemen. No. They send their little freaking dinghies and stuff on a little sailing voyage. And what we saw when those Navy SEALs interdicted those weapons components in the Gulf of Aden is that they were coming out of this general vicinity right here. and that they were then sailing due north in an attempt to like get through everything. Now, if that's the case, that means that Iran not only, because again, you have to think a couple layers deep, ladies and gentlemen, that Iran has networks over inside of Somalia. This is Somalia, the Horn of Africa, for those that don't know. Somalia is such a jacked up place, and I want you to look at this on the map. There's a dotted line right here because they don't even have like a defined border. That's how jacked up this country is. This border is like a disputed, argued border. They don't even have a damn defined border. John Klein coming in and John Klein becoming a brand new truce supporter. That's great. So they don't even have a defined border over there. All right. Now, with that being said, that's how unstable this country is. Even to this day, we can try to play games. We can try to say it's great, but Iran's got a lot of influence down in that region as well. And there is a lot of terrorism that takes place over inside of Somalia as well. So if they were going to go, there we go again. I'm back up. Nobody go anywhere. 3x5. Okay. My cable bill's paid, friend. Don't worry about it. I'm just bouncing VPNs around because I am tired of getting shut down. Have you updates under it? Yeah, I have. I'm just bouncing VPNs because I'm getting tired of getting freaking shut down. So, Iran, right, has those connections all the way down here inside of Djibouti. Now, if I was to attack this U.S. base, I want you guys to think about it. Sometimes the best offense isn't a lot of tech. And this is where the U.S. gets a lot of things wrong. All right. So we know Iran's got influence down here on the Horn, and we know Iran's got influence over here. If they were to just launch ballistic missiles overhead, if they were to try throwing drones, whatever, we would end up taking that shit out, right? Like the flight time, everything else, we'd get that taken care of. So don't worry about it. What I'm worried about is a ground attack coming out of this area, up over on Camp Lemonnier and up over on the U.S. service members. I don't know anybody that's currently stationed over there above ground or forces. That's what that would look like, because they don't have the ability to project in that way on U.S. forces. Now, they could randomly start launching ballistic missiles and shit, but what you're not seeing, even if we were to go over to Flight Radar net right now, which is going to be very interesting to go take a look at, what you're not seeing is the amount of U.S. aircraft that are likely already patrolling the Iranian borders and watching over in the skies that have their radar systems flicked off. We are still, despite what everybody thinks, we are still friends with Iraq. We are. And we're going to continue to remain that way. That's not going to go anywhere. So if we're going to do that, right? If we're going to be patrolling those guys, if we're going to be watching out for that stuff, they're there, right? Because we are that worried about it. Let me get Flight Radar up on the screen to like take you guys over and show you. All right. Right now, there's nothing wrong with Middle East flight traffic. Absolutely nothing. Are we going to give them warnings? No. We are not. These commercial aircraft are going to be up, over, and operating in the Middle East for the foreseeable future. What likely you are not going to see is a lot of, fighter jets and things like that that are up on here patrolling these borders. You're just not going to see them. So here's the Iraqi-Iranian border. You're not going to see them up here. We know that they're going to exist, right? The United States government has this shit under control. This admin has this under control, all right? Incog Faraday came in gifting out 5 Speak the Truth memberships. So here towards the end of the day, because Israel had just gone into Gaza about not even 12 hours ago. It's not even fair to say they've been in Gaza 12 hours. So I suspect by tonight, when we go to do our stream tonight, that we're going to have a lot more videos and stuff like that coming out of Gaza. Not many. I'd be surprised if I had 10 because of the way everything has been going down. But it is going to get out. Okay? It is going to get out. We are going to get that information. When it comes out, you guys will be the first ones to have it. Be on the lookout for that video coming out tonight about what every American needs to know about the Middle East. You just got to, right? Like you got to understand it. If you don't understand your enemy, you're going to lose.